Part 161. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1601. Chapter 1601. Zuyu enters Yejia company. I just didn't expect that after this incident happened, Beijiu didn't see Ye Qingfeng for a whole week. Besides, Yuan Ran prepared a gift that day for Ye Qingfeng to give to Zuyu as an apology. When Ye Qingfeng gave the gift to Zuyu, Zuyu took the opportunity to propose in a joking tone, "If you have to apologize, why don't you give me a chance? Let me study in your company for 2 months. I was bored during the summer vacation and wanted to find a job, so I applied for your company's assessment. At that time I was rejected because of my time, but haven't my abilities already met your company's standards for recruiting interns?" Zuyu has confidence in herself, which is something Ye Qingfeng appreciates. In fact, it is necessary to arrange for someone to join the company and play a small role as an intern. This is just a matter of 1 sentence. So, I wish you success. In the next few days, Zuyu was happy and full of motivation every day. Even if the old employees would leave all the troublesome errands to her, she did not complain or flinch, because she only thought that this was Ye Qingfeng's personal nod of approval. Regarding the matter, she believed that she would be able to get what she wanted soon. But this happiness is not mutual. Zuyu was sorting out files when she suddenly heard a voice coming from next to her. Why is she packing her things? She hasn't gotten off work yet. Oh, you don't know yet, but Arlene was fired just now. Why so suddenly? What happened? When Arlene went to deliver documents, she accidentally damaged something in the nightclub. The nightclub fired her on the spot. Ah, it's so miserable. Keep your voice down, the little nightclub has been in a bad mood for the past 2 days. She must have been hit by a gun. Zuyu was nearby, so she listened to the conversation between the two. She heard the key point, that is, Ye Qingfeng was in a bad mood these days. Why? Since she had just come to the company, Zuyu was very careful about her words and deeds and did not go to the company to find Ye Qingfeng, let alone meet in private, so Zuyu did not know much about Ye Qingfeng's situation. Zuyu approached and asked, "I just heard you say that the little nightclub was in a bad mood. What's going on?" No one knows. Xiao is always known for her good temper. This is the first time this happened in the past few days, so we don't dare to ask. Oh, Zuyu nodded in agreement. After returning home from get off work, Zuyu sent several messages to Ye Qingfeng on her mobile phone. She kept waiting until she received a reply from Ye Qingfeng in the evening. It's just that the reply was just 2 words, "It's okay. Can't find any news." Zuyu can only learn about it through the gossip spread in the company. At the beginning, I learned that the employee made a mistake and was fired. Finally, I learned that the employee was fired because he accidentally destroyed a very important document. If it is an important document of the company, there will be nothing to say if it is fired. It's just that Arlene didn't seem to say that when she left. Zuyu was dubious, and she didn't learn the truth until she met Arlene, who was coming to handle the final resignation information during a lunch break. Arlene told her that the real reason why she was fired was because she broke a unicorn ornament that Ye Qingfeng placed in the office. That thing just came over. I didn't pay attention at the time and accidentally hit the ground. Oh, I blame my bad luck for hitting the muzzle of the gun. It's just a decoration, can't I just buy a new one? Zuyu didn't understand. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1602. Chapter 1602. That was a gift to Beijiu. Arlene shook her head and sighed. I was also confused at the time. It was the Secretary General who took pity on me and told me that it was something made by the small nightclub himself. It was just delivered today and it was said to be very important. Zuyu finally learned the truth from Arlene. She took advantage of her break to find a shop where she could DIY ceramics. She thought, since Ye Qingfeng likes handmade ceramics, Would she make him one by herself and give it to Ye Qingfeng? Would he be happy about it? Then, Zuyu didn't know the real reason that could influence Ye Qingfeng's mood at all. Things have to go back to the day of the Beijiu school event. After Ye Qingfeng and Beijiu separated that day, Beijiu didn't show up for several days. Even when he came to the door, he didn't see anyone. Ye Qingfeng deeply reflected on himself and prepared a lot of gifts and coaxing. No one's kind words were ever sent out. So this week, Ye Qingfeng is in a very dull mood. Until the ceramic store sent him the ceramic ornaments he and Beijiu made together last time, he was sure that Beijiu would not refuse it. What he didn't expect was that the accident happened so suddenly. The ceramic unicorn was shattered, and he was very angry. I don't even know how to explain this matter to Beijiu. At this moment, the Bei family is in a different situation. Daddy, do we really not want to see Brother Feng? Int. Beijiu's eyes were full of desire, but Bei rejected it ruthlessly. But Daddy, you told me before that it would only take a few days, and it has already been several days. The longer the better. But you really wants to go and play with Brother Feng. If I say no, I can't. Don't you even believe what Daddy says? Alright. That day Bei finally thought of a way to coax his daughter, so he told Beijiu, that brat will teach you a lesson for other women now. You have to ignore him for a few days before he can feel that you are angry. Children are easy to coax, and Kitano took advantage of her shortcomings, so he deceived her easily. He just told Beijiu not to look for Ye Qingfeng, and secretly sent her away when Ye Qingfeng came to the door, so that he could be happy. Ever since his daughter was born, her love for Ye Qingfeng has been a worry for Bei. Now that his plan has succeeded, he must not hesitate. Yuan Ran came with the fruit and was puzzled by the two men, one looking happy and the other worried. What's wrong with you, father and daughter? One is so happy, and the other is so unhappy. Yuan Ran really didn't know about Bei's crooked intestines. When Yuan Ran asked, the two of them shook their heads and dismissed it. Poor Ye Qingfeng, Rao is a genius boy who is known as a high IQ, and does not know that his godfather calculates himself in order to fight the wind and jealous. 2 days later, Zuyu came to the company holding a unicorn ceramic ornament that she had made by herself. She worked on it all night that day, and paid more for her boss to bake the ceramics for her first, so she couldn't wait to get them. She quietly went upstairs to Ye Qingfeng's office. Unexpectedly, the first person she met was Ye Qingfeng's secretary. Ordinary employees will not come up to this floor, and Zuyu, as the new employee of the company, should not come here, so she was stopped by the secretary at the door. After some questioning, Zuyu bluntly said that she wanted to see Ye Qingfeng. The secretary refused. Zuyu then thought about it and showed him the unicorn ceramic she was holding in her hand. I'm here to deliver something to the nightclub. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1603. Chapter 1603. He kept what Zuyu gave him. The secretary knew that Ye Qingfeng was furious about the unicorn ceramics. Now that she saw Zuyu holding this thing in her hand, she gave way to her at that time. Zuyu stood in front of Ye Qingfeng's office door, took a deep breath, raised her hand and knocked. Come in. Getting the answer, Zuyu mustered up the courage to take a step forward and appeared in front of Ye Qingfeng. Ye Qingfeng frowned slightly. Why are you here? I want to give you a gift. This. Zuyu handed out the things in his hand as if he were offering a treasure, and looked at Ye Qingfeng expectantly. But she did not see a happy expression on Ye Qingfeng's face, but it was a bit intriguing. Zuyu explained to him, I heard from Arlene that your unicorn was broken, so I made a new one for you. It took a lot of effort to learn it. It may not be perfect, but I hope it can make it better. Be happy. Zuyu's courage increased little by little in front of Ye Qingfeng. Perhaps it was Ye Qingfeng's occasional attitude toward her that was different from others that made her more direct when facing Ye Qingfeng. After Ye Qingfeng heard Zuyu's words, he finally put the things away and said in a low voice, "Thank you." Other than that, there seemed to be no extra words between the two. Zuyu was also smart and was very happy when he saw him accepting the gift. Then he left on the pretext of work and stopped disturbing him. In fact, she kept laughing after leaving Ye Qingfeng's office, feeling like the honey in her heart was about to overflow. When I meet my colleagues when I go downstairs, I will joke, "Hey Zuyu, what makes you so happy? It makes you smile." "No, no, haha." Ye Qingfeng put the ceramics on the table after receiving them. He picked up the file and looked at it twice before putting it down and taking the ceramics out of the box. He took a closer look and saw that this appearance was not exquisite, but it was the same as the unicorn he and Beijiyu made last time. It was not exquisite but real. He knew clearly that Zuyu had put a lot of thought into it. Remembering the unicorn that was broken last time, he lifted the ceramic and placed it on the partition of the wall. After a week of classes, Beijiyu finally waited until Friday for the day off. The driver was waiting outside the school gate. She was about to get in the car as usual, lifting her little feet and putting them down again. "Uncle Lu, I want to go outside for a while and then go home." "Okay, miss." The driver, Lao Lu, got out of the car and walked behind Beijiyu. Beijiyu was carrying a small school bag and walking forward step by step, looking a little careless. It's been 5 days, and she hasn't looked for Ye Qingfeng, and Ye Qingfeng actually doesn't come to her house to look for her either. This makes Beijiyu very frustrated, because Beiye always says in her ears, "Wait until he takes the initiative to look for you, you can go see him." Beijiyu waited and waited. She was full of expectations at first, but now she feels depressed. "Miss, be careful." Beijiyu was pulled back a few steps. She was shocked and heard the noise in front of her getting louder and louder. "What's wrong with you? Can you afford to pay for my clothes being dirty?" Sorry. I don't care. If you don't pay me today, don't even think about leaving." "I'm really not sorry." "Miss, let me wash your clothes for you." "I'm sorry." The strange quarrel attracted Beijiyu's attention. She walked forward curiously, but was pulled back by the driver. "Miss, please don't go there, let's go around." End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1604. Chapter 1604. She is a little angel. "Uncle Lu, I'm curious and want to take a look." Beijiyu's tone seemed to be discussing, but she had a very stubborn temper and usually took action on what she wanted to do. The driver had no choice but to accompany her there. The quarrel was between a woman with exquisite makeup and a cleaner wearing environmentally friendly clothes. The cleaner had obvious wrinkles on his face and some white hair on his head. After listening to what others said, Beijiyu also understood that the cleaning worker accidentally spilled it on the woman's skirt when he was sprinkling water. It was originally clean water, and it would dry out quickly after a few drops in summer, but the woman was wrong and insisted on making the cleaners pay for it. That water was not splashed over a large area, but only a few drops accidentally touched it. This is clearly an unreasonable act. Passers-by whispered to each other, not wanting to meddle in other people's business. Beijiyu heard the woman's noise and the cleaning worker's constant apologies from beginning to end. She pressed her head and felt even more annoyed. "Auntie, can you understand that Grandpa cleaning didn't do it on purpose?" "Children, don't talk nonsense. If you stain my clothes, I have to pay for it." The woman looked at the cleaner with disgust, damaging the cleaner from beginning to end. "Bad luck, just pay and leave." Hearing this, Beijiyu became angry. Teachers at school often teach them to learn to respect every profession. Even if someone accidentally spilled a little water and apologized sincerely without causing serious consequences, they were still hurt. That woman hates not just this person, but this industry. Beiji pointed at the woman angrily. She is still making trouble on the street while wearing a counterfeit. Even a child like me is ashamed to see her. When she said this, the eyes of the onlookers became very strange. The woman who was so arrogant just now suddenly changed her face. What nonsense are you talking about, you little brat? Look, I won't teach you a lesson today. Seeing the woman walking this way, the driver immediately protected Beiji by his side. The unreasonable woman saw a grown man protecting the child and was so frightened that she stopped her hand. Beiji can see that this person is also a bully and fears the strong. Auntie, if you are still entangled here and hindering the city's cleaning work, I have already planned to call the police. Beiji has a cunning look in his eyes, and he is not fake at all when he scares people. Seeing that there were more and more people watching, the woman was afraid of causing trouble, so she got out of the crowd. The cleaner who was able to save the siege walked up to Beiji and thanked her. Probably no one expected that it would be a little girl who came forward in the end. Son, thank you, thank you. The cleaner suddenly cried when he was thanking me. This change of scene caught Beiji off guard. Grandpa, don't cry. Beiji immediately took out a pack of paper towels from her small school bag and handed it over. The cleaner saw the pair of white hands holding the urgent paper towels and wiped his hands on the clothes casually twice. He was too embarrassed to accept it. My hands are too dirty, so I won't waste them. Good boy, thank you. Good people are rewarded. Putting his hands nervously by his side, the cleaner squatted down to talk to Beiji, with tears in his eyes. How grateful he was to this kind-hearted child, but he didn't dare to touch it because he felt dirty. No one expected that the always dignified eldest lady Beiji took out a tissue and wiped the old man's tears with her own hands. You are not dirty, thank you. Zuyu did not expect that she would run into the scene by chance when she came here to pick up things while running errands for the company. Originally, she thought Beiji was an unruly and willful young lady. I hope everyone can have kind thoughts and be treated gently by the world. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1605. Chapter 1605 Reconciliation. Now it seems that Beijiyu's hostility was only aimed at her. Since Ye Qingfeng regards Beijiyu as her sister, no matter what, she has to find a way to make this little girl accept her. Weighing the things in her hands, Zuyu gave up the idea of going up to say hello and prepared to leave the plan until next time. Over at Beijiyu, a farce changed her original dull mood. She stood there for a while and led the driver back the same way. Uncle Lu, drive, I'm going to find Brother Feng. Upon hearing this, the driver stood hesitantly beside the car and said bravely, Miss, sir, it's best for you not to meet Mr. Ye recently. I don't care, you have to listen to me. As soon as the lady put on her airs, the driver knew that the little princess had a bad temper, and the things she decided rarely made sense. In the end, driver Lu drove Beijiyu to Ye Qingfeng's company. Beijiyu took the keycard and successfully passed the levels of checkpoints and went straight to Ye Qingfeng's office. Her short legs ran quite fast. The secretary saw Beijiyu and was about to say hello when Ye Qingfeng opened the door at that moment and met her eyes as if she had a tacit understanding. In a daze, Beijiyu threw herself into Ye Qingfeng's arms, hugged him tightly with both hands and expressed her longing for him frankly. Brother Feng, you misses you so much. The moment the crisp voice reached his ears, Ye Qingfeng's eyes overflowed with smiles. The secretary could clearly see the subtle changes at that moment, and tactfully withdrew from the sight of the two of them. Ye Qingfeng didn't know why Beijiyu suddenly appeared, nor did he know that Beijiyu had been avoiding her ruthlessly this week, but at this moment when he hugged her, nothing else mattered. His little girl appeared in front of him fine, and there was no need to worry about anything else. You have been avoiding me for a week, you are so cruel. He stretched out his hand and pinched the little girl's nose. His accusing tone was not scolding, and his punishing action was obviously gentle. Humph, if you don't come to me for a week, you are the bad brother. Nonsense, I go to your house in person every day with gifts to apologize. It's obvious that you don't want to see me. Where is it? Why don't I know? Really do not know. Yes, Daddy said girls should be reserved, you can't. Yet Xingfen was able to figure out the truth of the matter in just a few words. In fact, it was no different from what he had guessed. He knew that Beijiu did not have so many complicated thoughts. If he had to see Beijiu, it would be okay, but this time he not only offended the little girl, but also had to calm Beiya down. The two reconciled happily. Beijiu had to wait for Ye Qingfeng to get off work. She was rolling around on the sofa and having fun, and the man didn't say much. Beijiu had sharp eyes and happened to see the unicorn-shaped ceramic. Brother Feng, that unicorn was the one we made last time. Hearing Beijiu's joyful tone, Ye Qingfeng felt a faint headache. Without waiting for him to explain, Beijiu stepped forward and took the things down. The unicorns all use the same model and color scheme, and Beijiu cannot carefully analyze the differences after the items are made. She naturally identifies the items as the last finished product. Ye Qingfeng saw her holding the unicorn and looking at it carefully, and couldn't bear to tell her the truth. Brother Feng, we agreed last time that when it's done, it'll be mine, so I'm going to take it away. I have to say that Brother Qingfeng is far-sighted and has accumulated a lot of experience in fighting against his future father-in-law. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1606. Chapter 1606. Her name is engraved under this unicorn. Beijiu played with the unicorn and liked it very much. At the end of the day, Zuyu came out with her shoulder bag and saw Beijiu standing at the door of the company with a small skull bag on her back. She thought to herself, this is a good opportunity to capture people's hearts. Sister Jiu. Beijiu turned around reflexively when she heard her name, but frowned slightly when she saw Zuyu. Zuyu called her eyes rolled around, but she still didn't want to answer. The two of them were not familiar with each other, and Zuyu couldn't think of a topic for a while, when she happened to see the small ceramic object in Beijiu's hand. Zuyu pointed her finger and said, "Is this what you have in your hand?" Beijiu tightened the things in her hands and stared at her with her cheeks puffed up, as if she was afraid that she would take away the things in her hands. Zuyu couldn't help but smile, bent down and said to her, "Do you know where the thing you are holding now comes from? I made it with my own hands. It's rare that you like it." "You're talking nonsense," Beijiu finally spoke and confronted her. "How could this be something you made? Don't even try to lie to me. Why should I lie to you about a small item? If you don't believe it, you can see that there are 2 letters underneath this thing. I engraved it on purpose at that time. Zuyu wanted to give this thing to Ye Qingfeng, so she had selfish reasons. His initials are engraved on the bottom of the unicorn." Beijiu turned things over and looked at them. The 2 words ZX on them were particularly obvious. She stared at the thing in her hand and suddenly felt very hot. How is it possible? It was obviously made by her and Ye Qingfeng, and it was obviously hers, so why did it become made by Zuyu herself? Now you should believe it. I gave this to your brother. I didn't expect you to like it so much. Zuyu said this because she wanted to build a relationship with Beijiu, but Beijiu's expression changed on the spot. I don't like it, just give it back to you. Beiji wanted to return the thing to Zhuyu. As the two of them fought, they didn't know whether they let go too quickly or took over too slowly. The small ceramic object fell to the ground with a bang. This sound disturbed many people nearby. Everyone looked this way. Beiji took a step back in fright. Zhuyu was also shocked. Just when she was about to squat down to pick it up, Ye Qingfeng happened to walk over. What happened? Others didn't dare to say anything, so Zhuyu explained, "I'm sorry, I didn't hold the thing securely and dropped it. I'll clean it up right away." Zhuyu took the blame directly on herself, but Beiji was standing nearby, and anyone with a discerning eye knew that this matter had nothing to do with her. Beiji looked at Ye Qingfeng without saying a word. Ye Qingfeng, who had always been steady, felt a little guilty at the moment and wanted to step forward to explain to her, but Beiji turned around and ran out. The short legs couldn't outrun the long legs. The front foot was caught by Ye Qingfeng as soon as he stepped out of the gate. "Let me go, you liar." She was indeed a girl made of water. Tears flowed out as soon as she squeezed her eyes. "Listen to my explanation." The highly intelligent Ye Qingfeng actually acted stupidly in front of a little girl today. "I don't want to talk to you anymore, I want my unicorn, I just want my unicorn, woo woo woo." "I'm sorry, brother, will I pay you another one, okay? I want my unicorn, I don't want other people's things, I just want mine," she cried and asked, feeling that her things were about to be taken away. Because the woman named Zhuyu brought her a sense of crisis. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1607. Chapter 1607. Do you like her? Zhuyu picked up the pieces and put them down, then chased after Beiji and apologized, "I'm really sorry." But before she could finish her words, Beiji broke free from Ye Qingfeng's control and turned away when he saw her. Zhuyu stared at Ye Qingfeng and tried to explain, what happened just now was actually because. "Let's talk about it later," Ye Qingfeng waved her hand to interrupt her words, and then caught up with her. Alas! Zhuyu held back a few unfinished words, looking a little embarrassed. She originally wanted to use the unicorn to build a relationship with Beiji, but she didn't know that Beiji would react so violently, and now something happened again. Zhuyu stood behind, watching Ye Qingfeng catch up with Beiji. The two argued for a while, and Ye Qingfeng directly picked up Beiji and walked back. Zhuyu was afraid that she would anger Beiji again, so she quickly returned to the place where she had just broken the small objects and picked up the broken things. The unicorn is now missing its horn, but the main body is fine. Zhuyu opened it and found that the two letters at the bottom were already torn. She felt very sorry. Ye Qingfeng forcefully carried Beiji to the lounge and immediately closed the door. Only after making sure that Beiji could not run away at will did he explain to her seriously. Ye Qingfeng calmly explained to her what happened about Arlene breaking the unicorn, but Beiji was worried about this more than just this. "I don't want to listen to you anymore, you are lying. I saw that you couldn't put it down when you held that thing, so I didn't explain why I was wrong. Who cares? I don't want that woman's things. I hate her, hate it. Hate it." She stamped her feet anxiously, feeling very sad to be deceived. Ye Qingfeng did not feel dissatisfied because of this, but apologized to her with guilt. My brother made a mistake this time. He has realized his mistake. Can you forgive me once?" Beiji wiped away her tears with both hands and asked him, "Then why did you keep Zhuyu's unicorn? Do you like her?" He didn't want to deceive Beiji, but he couldn't tell whether he liked Zhuyu or not. He only knew that when facing Zhuyu, he was a little different from ordinary people. Seeing that he hesitated to answer, Beiji decided in her heart that he was acquiescing, and this time the gathering ended up ending on bad terms. Beiji lost her temper and didn't even eat at night when she got home. Beye was angry and happy when he learned about this. He was angry that other boys made his precious daughter unhappy, but he was happy that after so many years, your daughter, who has been devoted to Yeching Feng, finally became more ambitious. However, it had only been a day, and Kitano's only little joyful thought was gone. Because Beijiu has refused to eat for 2 meals. Everyone in the family took turns to persuade her, but since she was a child, everyone knew that there were not many people who could make Beijiu obedient. Now that she is angry with Yeching Feng, even her parents can't persuade her. Yeching Feng was worried, and Beye finally let him into the house. After all, the person who tied the bell had to be tied to untie it. Hearing the sound of opening the door, Beijiu didn't look back. She lay on the table and closed her eyes, but she couldn't fall asleep either. Hearing the familiar voice, she raised her eyelids, but still did not open them. Yeching Feng brought the food and placed it next to her, but she pretended to be asleep and ignored her. Xiao Yuer, it's me who did something wrong and I'm the one who deserves to be punished. If you refuse to eat, aren't you making yourself uncomfortable? This stimulating method is of no use on Beijiu. Yeching Feng had no choice but to take out something good from behind, look up and see what this is. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1608. Chapter 1608. The first day of college. Beijiu couldn't help but looked up again, and saw Yeching Feng holding a ceramic wind chime in his hand, and the rope pendant in the middle of the wind chime was in the shape of a crescent moon. The small and exquisite crescent moon is decorated with different colors and is embedded in the wind chime. It looks great together. Girls are naturally interested in trinkets and the like, and Beijiu couldn't take her eyes away when she saw this wind chime. The expression on her face betrayed her little thoughts. Yeching Feng did not reveal it, so she handed the wind chime to Beijiu. I made this with my own hands. I gave it to you as a gift to apologize. Xiao Yuer, are you considering forgiving me? Beijiu raised her hands and turned her head with a hum. The expression on her face could no longer be tense. For the sake of someone's sincere apology, I will forgive someone a lot. Just a little girl. Snored. She took the wind chime over and held it carefully, her eyes looking around the room for a place to hang it. Seeing this, Yeching Feng finally let go of the big stone in his heart. However, this does not mean that you can sit back and relax in the future. Beijiu hung up the wind chimes and clapped her hands with satisfaction, but after being happy, she thought about the unicorn. She stared at Yeching Feng and hesitated to speak. This time she actually kept the words in her heart. During the following period, Yeching Feng seemed to deliberately avoid Zuyu. Zuyu is a smart person. She will not rush for quick results. She also puts aside her thoughts and works seriously for the time being, so that others can at least let others know that her abilities as an intern are impeccable. Occasionally, Beijiu would appear in the company, but the three of them never met head-on again. Summer vacation flies by, and in a blink of an eye, it's the beginning of school again. The registration time for university is about a week later than other grades, and Yeching Feng and Yezhiruo have already made preparations. Even so, the only thing I worry about my children is that I worry about them every day. Although the university is in the same city, it is several districts away. It takes 2 hours to drive back, and you may only see it once every half a month or a month. Ye Weiwei's long-standing suggestion to rent a house for them outside was rejected. Both children planned to live on campus, but when Ye Weiwei mentioned the matter to Yezikin in a worried tone, Yezikin went to school without saying a word. An apartment was arranged for the brother and sister outside. The house is ready, you can go or not. According to Yezikin's meaning, love can't last. After all, I want to make my wife feel at ease. Inadvertently, the three children of the Ye family silently shut up after showing off their faces. When Mo Xiangnuen sent her brothers and sisters to school, she saw the university campus. The feeling was very different from that of high school. She told Yasuhiro with longing on her face, "Sister, I will also work hard to take the exam for you and my brother in the future university. Of course you are welcome if you really want to come, but don't you like vocal music? There are specialties in the art, so you should set goals for yourself in advance." Yasuhiro answered her with a smile. Mo Xiongnuan said, "I don't have any goals. I think this place is very good." Probably because of his energy as a child, Mo Xiongnuan rarely expressed his thoughts to them. Although they had carefully taken care of Mo Xiongnuan's emotions, they always felt that something was missing. Yasuhiro has always been a very planning person. She thinks it is best that everyone should be like this, but she does not force her sister to make a decision. Nuan, in any case, you can figure it out for yourself. I remember Han Chi mentioned the music conservatory he was in. Nuan, don't you like music very much? You can think about it. I won't go. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1609. Chapter 1609. He is someone else's boyfriend. Mo Xiongnuan has always hidden many secrets in his heart, which even a family member has no way of finding out. School has just started and I am still very busy. In addition to class work, I also have personal matters. Yasuhiro is good looking and not squeamish. Although she has the temperament of a royal sister, she does not prevent others from getting in touch with her, so she quickly got to know each other with the new classmates in the dormitory. There is a little trouble on Ye Qingfeng's side. In the boys' dormitory, one of the roommates who was more willing to spend money offered to treat them to dinner in order to promote our relationship. The boys packed up their things quickly and left as soon as they went out. But when they got downstairs, a girl walked towards them and stopped them. To be precise, it was to stop Ye Qingfeng. After many days, Ye Qingfeng and Zuyu met face to face again. The person in the dormitory asked in surprise, "Who is this?" Ye Qingfeng did not introduce Zuyu's identity to them, but said directly, "You go find a place first, and then send me the address." Ok. The relationship between men is so refreshing. The other three roommates walked away slowly and curiously, looking back from time to time, probably because they were not familiar with them yet and it was inconvenient to ask or tease them. Here Ye Qingfeng and Zuyu were left looking at each other. Zuyu smiled at him and said, "Ye Qingfeng, I have fulfilled the conditions you said. I am here to ask you for an answer today." Both of them still remembered that Zuyu confessed to him at school more than 2 months ago, and he promised to give her an accurate reply at this moment. Zuyu feels that she has been waiting for a long time, and now is the time. The two of them stood quietly, Ye Qingfeng thinking quietly, Zuyu didn't rush him, she just stared at him intently. After a long time, Ye Qingfeng finally nodded slightly. Zuyu opened her eyes in disbelief. Did she read that correctly? Did Ye Qingfeng nod just now? Ye Qingfeng, you just nodded, didn't you? You promised me, didn't you? Zuyu grabbed his arm as soon as she got excited. His brows furrowed and then quickly straightened out, and finally he acquiesced. Ha ha ha, I'm really happier today than when I got the admission notice. Zuyu couldn't wait to take out her mobile phone to announce the good news to her brother, and even sent the message to the space to let everyone know. But then she thought about it, and she still didn't know if Ye Qingfeng was willing to expose their relationship so quickly, so she put away her phone, but she couldn't hide the bright smile on her face. Then can we go, for dinner? After all, it was a girl. She described the word date more euphemistically, saying it was dinner. Isn't a meal as a boyfriend and girlfriend equivalent to a date? Zuyu rubbed her hands secretly. She had even opened an app and started to choose food, but she heard the person say, "I can't do it today, I have promised to have dinner with my roommate." Then Zuyu settled for the next best thing, hoping that Ye Qingfeng could take her along. Ye Qingfeng seemed not to understand, and said directly, "Are you hungry? Eat whatever you want, and I will reimburse you." One sentence made Zuyu's little worry disappear. At least Ye Qingfeng already knew the identity of her boyfriend clearly, right? As a girlfriend, she must also learn to be tolerant and understanding. Zuyu smiled generously and said, "No, I didn't ask you to be my boyfriend just for you to reimburse me for meals. I know you have an appointment with a friend first, so go quickly. We will have many opportunities to have dinner together in the future." End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1610. Chapter 1610. What is a girlfriend? Ye Qingfeng went to a banquet hosted by his roommates. After 2 glasses of wine, several people lost. Everyone talked about high school matters, and Ye Qingfeng listened quietly. Seeing that he was so quiet, the other 3 people deliberately brought up what happened today. "Ye Qingfeng, the girl who stopped you in the boys' dormitory before is not your girlfriend, right?" Hearing this, Ye Qingfeng came down from the tea in his hand and responded, "Yes." "Yo, that's good, I'm all single now, don't tell me, your girlfriend is pretty." Ye Qingfeng did not respond in particular to other people's comments. If you look at appearance, Zuyu does look good, and her figure seems to be good, but when he thinks about it carefully, he can't picture Zuyu's appearance in his mind. He doesn't know if this is considered a dereliction of duty as a boyfriend. "Then you just left your girlfriend aside and came to have dinner with us." "So it is." "Hey, that's enough, buddy. You will be my brother from now on. The young rich man who wanted to treat me today is called Songshu, and his name is completely inconsistent with his personality." Having only known each other for a day, he generously revealed his family background. Songshu's family is in business. His parents were originally farmers. They accidentally got lucky and became rich suddenly. However, there are not many educated people in the family, so they gave their children such a literary name in the hope that their children can study more, get ahead in the future. Fortunately, Songshu was successful. Although his personality was a little out of tune, he had a good mind and got into a good university. When his parents were happy, they gave him a lot of pocket money, so Songshu treated him generously on the first day. In the end, Songshu got drunk. Hiccup, "Are you full? Waiter, check out." The waiter came with the bill. Songshu took out his mobile phone and looked at the screen in confusion. Before Songshu was unlocked, Ye Qingfeng paid the next step. Songshu unilaterally regarded Ye Qingfeng as his best buddy in the university. The first day of school was also the first day of Ye Qingfeng's separation from single life, and it passed just like that. At about 8 o'clock in the evening, Ye Qingfeng received a greeting from Beiji Yu. Ye Qingfeng is not cold towards people, but this is the first time his roommate has seen such a gentle expression on his face since he met him. Even when he saw his girlfriend coming today, he had never been like this before. Brother Feng met his new friend Mark on his first day at school. "Well, I made a new friend." Brother Feng must get along happily with new friends. "Teacher, the more friends the better. There is another person outside." "No, you and Sister Ruo must take good care of yourself when you are outside, otherwise the people at home will worry of." Okay, I will." Ye Qingfeng clearly heard Yuan Ran's voice on the other end of the phone. The following words, "Parents take care of their children, remain unchanged forever," were what Yuan Ran taught Beiji Yu. Ye Qingfeng accepted his godmother's kindness and listened to Beiji Yu share some daily routines with him. This phone call ended, and an hour passed before I knew it. At the same time, a message from Zuyu popped up on his phone, asking him if there was anything going on here. Yet Xingfeng answered no, and Zuyu explained the reason: when I called you, the line was always busy. I thought there was some trouble. It's okay, it was you who called me. You Zuyu suddenly reacted, is it Beiji Yu? Suddenly I felt that nothing could compare to my girlfriend. End of this chapter.